No, and Graz, let's start with Mike McCarthy. He's done in Dallas. So what's next for the now former Cowboys head coach?
Laura, he'll be free to talk to any team he wants after midnight tonight. That's when the Cowboys' exclusive negotiating window with him expires. We anticipate that he will talk to the Chicago Bears at some point this week, possibly as early as tomorrow. They have expressed some interest. As we know, last Cowboys denied their request to talk to him. They were still trying to figure out a deal. Now that they will be free as of tomorrow to talk to him, I would expect him to get an interview with the Bears. Also possible he'll get some interest from the Saints, where he has some history, and we'll see what else in terms of the other openings that there are out there. In terms of who will succeed Mike McCarthy in Dallas, our Adam Schefter has reported that Jerry Jones has had conversations with Colorado head coach Deion Sanders, who of course was a superstar player for the Cowboys a while back. Where this heads, no one seems to know, including Deion, based on the conversation that he had with Adam last night. But interesting, certainly, that Jerry Jones would be reaching out. We have not yet heard of any other candidates that the Cowboys have requested permission to speak to or expressed interest in. So that could indicate that Jerry's trying to go a little outside the box for this hire before he does some more traditional NFL interviews.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on it. It's going to be fascinating to see how it all shakes out. And Marcus, what do you think? Are Deion and the Cowboys a good match?
I think it is a good fit, Boogie. And for the sake of moving this forward and not being super repetitive about what Jerry is and his staple in the building, I kind of want to talk about the coach and what he would have to do when he got to Dallas. The two things that I've seen from Prime, and a year ago, y'all, I wouldn't have been a proponent of Deion Sanders being the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. But you've looked over time from Jackson State, he built a high school here in Dallas all the way to Colorado. And not only is Prime and his cachet a part of this conversation, but I think we got to get to the foundational part of why I think this is a good fit, because he understands how to build a team, he understands how to relate, and he understands how to get guys to play for him and also delegate responsibility. The staff that he put together at Colorado was pretty solid. A lot of guys wouldn't have took that job if obviously Deion Sanders wasn't the head coach of that university. But there is a part of this when you start talking about Deion being the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys of a new infusion of juice. And I like what Graz ended with. It's completely different than the conventional hires that he's made the previous 3 times. We talk about, 4, Bill Parcells, Wade Phillips, Jason Garrett, and then ending with Mike McCarthy. I think this would set a new course from a standpoint of a coach with a different train of thought when he takes this job with Deion becoming the coach, possibly.
Listen, if he's going to go become the head coach, that's awesome. If I'm the Raiders or the Browns, I'm calling them to try and trade for Dak Prescott, because then in Deion's words, correct me if I'm wrong, Deion said the only way he's going to go coach in the NFL is if he's coaching his sons in multiple. So that means Shador and Shiloh. So if he's going to go and Jerry Jones is going to give him what he wants and they're going to try to make a play to go draft Shador, then if you're Dak Prescott, you're like, I'm not staying here. So then if I'm a team and this becomes a reality, I'm already ahead of this trying to see if I can trade for Dak Prescott. And I also think this is a unique locker room then, because you are very much so saying, hey, coach, you do quite literally whatever you want. And if it works out, great, but if I'm the quarterback, I want out as soon as possible.
I mean, I know he said that. That doesn't make any sense for the Cowboys to trade Dak Prescott.
I'm sure there's rules and dead cap space, and I think there's a no trade clause in Dak's contract.
That would be crazy.
You're right.
But you're not staying if he's the head coach, if that's the case.
He said it out loud.
Yeah, he has said that. And honestly, if I'm a player on the team, I don't know as a wide receiver if I would want to play for a team where my quarterback's dad is the head coach. But moving on from that, I would say that Shador in and of himself is positioned himself as the top quarterback in the draft on his own merit. His dad, I'm like Marcus, I might not have been a believer years ago that he would be able to step into an NFL locker room. And that might have been true because we've seen him build programs, and I think that experience is significant. That being said,
he can coach.
He can coach. And I think the Cowboys is the perfect place for a Deion because of the respect that you'll get from your team immediately. He has that kind of presence. The respect that he would demand from Jerry Jones, because Deion Sanders does not carry himself in a way that does not allow you to respect him, no matter what the situation is. And this role and this opening specifically needs a very particular kind of coach who can definitely take in what Jerry Jones is as an owner, his ability to, yes, make the Dallas Cowboys a brand that everybody loves, but just know there's going to be distractions. That stuff doesn't affect Deion Sanders.
Yeah, I also think, Hawk,
it doesn't affect him.
I also think, Marcus, for some reason, I do believe the coach and the quarterback, the father and the son could work. I just think there's something with they've always been together. Yeah. I'm sure he's always been very hard on him. And I know the NFL is different. There's something about that relationship that you've viewed that I do think it can work in the NFL.
Yeah. I would feel a lot differently about it if they didn't already have Dak Prescott. I mean, that's the only thing. Like, I agree.
If it happens, your dad.
Y'all, we've heard a lot of things said in this league that didn't materialize, and people still ended up happy. Yeah. I'm gonna just throw that out there. Like, I get what you're saying, but we've been on this show long enough to know that sometimes what they say is not absolutely what they mean.
That's a sage reminder from Swagoo. You know, he's been around.
We
got more coming your way. A lot of wisdom and other things on NFL Live. We're just getting started, okay? The Chiefs are back in action on their quest for a three-peat. But can the Texans' pass rush disrupt this high-powered offense? Swagoo thinks so. Plus, after losing 5 straight games and another early playoff exit, is it time?
Will it be a Hall of Famer in Deion Sanders, who has spoken with owner Jerry Jones about the head coaching vacancy? Sanders, who's just completed a second season at Colorado, said the possibility is intriguing, but that he's also happy in Boulder. As we bring in our NFL insider, Dan Graziano. So, Graz, there's one candidate out in the open. We know it's Prime. What can you tell us about some other candidates for the Dallas Cowboys?
Well, Matt, they're still putting their list together. I mean, this is, as of this time yesterday, they were just deciding really that they were moving on from Mike McCarthy and going to be looking for a new head coach. So they spent yesterday calling around, having meetings, looking to see who they are going to want to bring in, and you'll start to see them put in, permission slips to interview some people. They cannot interview anybody with the Lions or the Chiefs until those teams' season ends because they didn't put in any requests for them and do virtual interviews with them last week. But someone like offensive coordinator Kellen Moore of the Eagles, who was in Dallas for a while with Dak Prescott, both as a player and a coach, he's somebody who will probably get some attention. Obviously, we know about Deion Sanders. A lot of people wondering if Jerry Jones might look at other college head coaches as potential candidates too. So really the Cowboys list just coming together. I think we're going to start to see some names come out here in the next 24 hours in terms of specific guys they want to talk to.
Yeah, and speaking of list, what does Mike McCarthy's list look like for maybe potential opportunities for him?
The Bears have expressed interest in Mike McCarthy, and the expectation is that they will interview him at some point, probably this week, perhaps as early as tomorrow, which is the first day anybody can interview him. His exclusivity deal with the Cowboys expires at midnight tonight. We also anticipate that the Saints could have interest in Mike McCarthy. He has a little bit of history there from early in his coaching career. As of now, they haven't asked for permission, but as of tomorrow, they don't have to. They can just bring him in. So those are 2 spots to watch if Mike McCarthy is going to bounce and get a head coach job right away after leaving the Cowboys.
Yeah, and again, there aren't just Super Bowl winning coaches hanging around, and he's one of them. And if you've got a young...
You want to run some blood money? Try some of that shit. That shit's tight too. We'll run one after this one. Man, we're 5th fucking place, y'all. Fuck. Hello.
Warm up while you can. Sub-Zero. Sit down. Scorpion. Special Forces Desert Command. Round one, fight.